What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Kofi Kingston, aka 1/3 of the New Day. You're not gonna say it with me, sir? Yeah, come on, you better participate. Let's try it again. 1/3 of the New Day, and you are watching The Young and the Wrestlers. Ha 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 ha.
Welcome to The Young and the Wrestlers, the Pop Culture's WWE podcast, a show that takes a look at the soap opera nature of the WWE, the characters, the storylines at its core. We just mark out. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Betson, alongside.
I'll eliminate your chamber. What?
Hot.
I'm Jem.
That's hot. This is, as Jem alluded to, our Elimination Chamber special, and it is coming at you on Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. on your podcast services, 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. Our regular show, Thursdays. If you want to join that wrestling conversation, you can. Facebook.com/group/popcultures, Twitter, Discord, Instagram, all those links are in the down below area. If you want to support the show, you can by watching it live at twitch.tv/thepopcultures. You become part of the chat, become part of the show. Additionally, if you're on the iTunes, 5-star rating, written review, YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, all that jargon. If you want to support us financially, you can. Patreon.com/thepopcultures, as well as our merchandise store, popculture.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. Jem, you are looking astounding as always. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. I'm very interested to see how tonight's going to go, because we just discussed the fact that we have opposing visions.
Yeah, so we had a little bit of pre-chat, and you're like, I didn't like this. And I'm like, well, I did quite like this. So this is Elimination Chamber. As you know, it's just like many of the pay-per-views for WWE. It's centered around one novelty match. In this case, it is the Chamber match. For the uninitiated, it's where there is the ring, a giant cage around it, but there are 4 pods, and each, there's 4 people in said pods, 2 in the ring. And if you are pinned or you are submitted, you are eliminated and you are kicked the fuck out. And whoever is last standing,
last man is standing.
It's last man standing mixed with a cage match, mixed with a bit of a rumble in there. It's a weird mutation.
So, fun little tidbit about the Elimination Chamber. It was invented in 2002 and brought to us first time by Triple H. He was the one that announced it. That's a fun little fact. It was the 28th Elimination Chamber, I think it was.
Something about that. So, 1991, yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So...
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of prestige coming into this match. So we had a lot of... we'll get to them one by one, but of course we had the WWE Championship match where the belt was on the line in said chamber. We had the Universal Championship qualifier, so whoever won would then go straight into a match against Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship.
Yeah.
We had the Women's Tag Team Championship. It was versus a weird matching. There was a United States Championship match in the main show. However, due to an injury, one of the participants was not involved, and the kickoff show had a qualifying match in order to fill that 3rd spot. And then additionally, the original match for the Raw Women's Championship match was scratched completely. So that did not appear on the show. Let's start with how this show did in fact open, though.
I was happy with how it opened, not gonna lie. It opened with the WWE Universal Championship qualifier chamber.
Yes.
I guess is what we call it.
So in this match, we had Daniel Bryan, Cesaro, AJ Styles. No, AJ Styles was the later one.
Sami Zayn,
Kevin Owens, Kofi Kingston,
and Jey Uso. Kofi wasn't in this one.
Yes, he was.
Kofi was in this one.
Yeah, so it did start off with Cesaro and Daniel Bryan in the ring. They were the first two, and they went fucking hard. They bolted the poo out of each other.
No. Kofi's not in this one.
Kofi's 100%. He is in the Raw one.
He's in the Raw one.
In my head, he is still a SmackDown superstar because I'm a moron.
Yeah, no, so it's Sami, Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, King Corbin, Jey Uso, and Kevin Owens.
We forgot King Corbin.
Yeah, he.
Doesn't matter. They forgot about him too because he was the first to be eliminated. Then no one was eliminated for about 25 minutes.
Yep, it was the first pot open and the first person out. Hilarious.
Get fucked. Get out of there. But yeah, so we'll break down a bit by a bit. We don't have to really break it down bit by bit. That's not what we do here. For us, it's about the whole experience and what it means.
Yeah.
In the end, Daniel Bryan won. He was then to face have a title shot literally at the end of this match. But before we get into that, how did you find this chamber match specifically?
This one I was excited about, especially as the opener, because the opening for the match was Cesaro and Daniel Bryan. Now, we know both Cesaro and Daniel Bryan are stupidly amazing performers, like second to none in the industry. So I knew straight away this was going to be one hell of a match, and I knew that they were going to go long and hard in this match as well. Yeah. I mean, have you seen Cesaro? He's long and hard.
He's Big Dick Tony.
Yeah, he's Big Dick Tony, he is. So this I was excited about, and I did really enjoy this match because it really was a showcase of what these guys can do. So obviously we saw so King Corbin came out first, and then Sami Zayn's pod was second, and then KO, and then Jey Uso. Sami Zayn's camera crew got kicked out for some reason, but we'll talk about it later, but Omos didn't, so I'm pissed about that. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. So there were some amazing spots here, but like first person to go, as we said, was King Corbin, and that was due to I believe he tapped out to
a submission
a
from
sharpshooter.
Someone. Yeah, a sharpshooter from Cesaro, yeah.
From Cesaro, which was awesome. It was really awesome for me to see Cesaro get that, because this is putting a spotlight on Cesaro that he so desperately deserves.
Yeah. Which
doesn't need it, he deserves it.
I'm gonna bury the lead, and that's why it's fucked that he didn't win.
Exactly right.
Because like it was one of those things. He was the strongest competitor in this chamber
easily.
match, and
He picked Daniel Bryan up by one leg.
Yeah,
and swung him.
He made it his way to the final three. So it was Uso, Daniel, and Cesaro, and then he just kind of got eliminated. Or like he was the strongest. He was the bestest. He was the EST of this match, and he fucking smashed it. And he really should have won because like we knew whoever won, they ain't winning the Universal Championship.
Yeah, exactly.
So why not? Why not? Even though we'll breaking kayfabe, why not have it be Cesaro? He's never had a championship belt. He's never had. I don't think he's had a championship match. So you know what I mean? Like they mentioned that on the commentary as he comes in. So why not give it to him? Like let him have that shot. Right. And they're rubbing the fuck out of him right now. And Daniel Bryan, like Daniel Bryan's focus right now isn't about winning. He isn't about titles. He's about putting people over. And we saw that here firsthand. So why not help put Cesaro over?
Exactly right. I mean, Cesaro, like I said before, he was swinging Daniel Bryan around by one damn leg, for crying out loud. Granted, I can understand how this would have taken him out, because if you're spinning somebody around and you cop a super kick to the face, you're going to get knocked the hell out.
Well, you're already dizzy and then you get fucked up.
Yeah, exactly it. So, and it was a vicious kick from Jey Uso as well. And I was on the edge of my chair like, oh God, please not Jey Uso. And thankfully it wasn't. But I knew as soon as I saw the end of that match, Daniel Bryan couldn't stand up. He was face down on that mat all the way through Roman Reigns' entrance. Like there was no way in hell that he was gonna.
But
this was amazing.
This was the greatest thing. So ding ding ding, bell kicks in for the Universal Championship match. Roman goes for a spear. Daniel ducks out of the way, trips him up, gets him straight into a label lock, into a yes lock, and I'm like, holy fuck, is Daniel have this?
Yeah, me too. Me too. And I was on the edge of my seat about this, but no, unfortunately, Roman Reigns does get out of it and just lays.
And the second that that submission hold broke, he just plummeted his face in, which is what I expected. Like I expected someone to get
because
pummeled.
The disrespect. Yeah. It's Roman Reigns. He's like, you've just disrespected me by doing that. I'm going to make you pay for it.
Yeah.
Speaking of disrespect, though, at the end of the match, Roman Reigns is holding his belt high. He turns around and boom, speared by Edge. So I guess we know who Edge is going to Mania about.
Yeah, and then Edge points the WrestleMania sign, which, as we know, means that's who he's picking.
Big old fireworks go off, and it's obvious.
See, I still think it's the most attention-grabbing draw. I say because I still think he should have gone for Drew and the WWE title because I said that was the belt he never lost, and like Spear versus Spear, Roman versus Edge is certainly cool, but that was
cool,
that was my original thinking of if The Rock was going to return, and we know that isn't the case now, and we knew that wasn't going to be the case with COVID, but that was obviously the original plan with the Hollywood Mania.
Yeah.
So it is the better pick.
For sure.
Yeah, but
I'm down for it, because if anybody's going to
If it is that retirement match that we've been speculating, though, woo.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the position that if anybody is going to take the title from Reigns, it would be Edge, just because we know Edge is the ultimate opportunist. He's always going to pick that moment to be able to, get that win. So, do I see it happening? Possibly. Very possibly. I think it might be his last ride, I guess.
Yeah. Which is why I think it comes down to at the end, and he's like, if I don't win this match, I'll retire. And then they go, okay,
exactly
cool. And then he loses. It's a hell of a match, but he loses.
Yeah.
And that's how I see that going.
Yeah.
The downside with this match is it went exactly how we expected. It went exactly as we predicted, which makes sense.
Apart from that, yes, Locke.
Yeah, but having that moment where we went,
yeah,
that was when it was great, and then it kind of became what you would expect by the numbers. It was like, okay, cool.
But then it got me again. It did get me again at the end there with Edge, so it ended on a high for sure.
Yeah, and then it brings you back up, and you're like, oh my god, which is nice. But saying that though, I would have loved it if it gone the other way. I think having Daniel win and take the title, puts him in like a Grand Slam sort of space, because he's never had the Universal Championship.
Yeah.
And it would have been
great storyline.
Yeah, because that would have helped fracture that ego of Roman Reigns. And then it would him being absolute, it's one of those things, when he's leading, he's all cocky, but the second it's gone, he is cutthroat chasing. Mm-hmm. And it will be fuck everyone until I get that belt.
Yeah, he'll literally spear through everyone and everything to get it.
And that would have been this guillotining everyone, everything, women, man, woman, child, horse, dog, cat. You didn't get.
He'd be chucking a Bobby Lashley, just locking everybody.
Yeah,
in.
and that would have been a more engaging story for me personally. But I think what they're wanting with Edge made the right call here. That's a better decision.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially knowing what happens at the back end of the show.
Exactly that.
Next up, after the Universal Championship match, we have essentially the filler match for. Oh no, it wasn't. Was United States or
it was.
tag
Yeah,
team
it was
first?
the United States.
Take that back. United States match was.
That's
was
why
rad.
I mentioned Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, Booby Lashley. At the time, the current. Spoilers. United States champion against Matt Riddle and John Morrison. So as we had at the start of the show, Keith Lee was removed due to injury. So rather than having it be a one-on, sort of a singles match, it ran a triple threat, a little rumble-roo thing at the start.
Oh, they had a fatal four-way in the kickoff show with John Morrison,
Mustafa Ali, Ricochet.
Yeah, and
someone else.
I can't remember who else.
Someone else, and they didn't win. Doesn't matter. So John Morrison, which is cool. In short, it did end with Matt Riddle becoming the United States champion with a pin on John Morrison.
Yeah. So with this, this is what I loved about this is they brought into the fact that triple threat matches, fatal four ways, there's no disqualification. It's pinfall or submission. And that's pretty much the premise of the whole Elimination Chamber anyway. So it fits the pay-per-view. So for some reason, MVP was out there on a crutch.
He bunged his leg or something. Literally.
Something like that. Yeah. But so John Morrison and Riddle did realize the only way they were going to take out Bobby Lashley was if they teamed up against him. And at some point, Lashley was out and John Morrison grabbed the crutch and went to attack with it, and Bobby Lashley managed to wrap him up in the hurt log, and that's when Riddle capitalized. He grabbed that crutch, he broke it over Bobby Lashley's back,
two real hard hits,
and then and then was able to bro Derek on Morrison for the win. And I love that just as soon as he grabbed the title, he piss bolted out of there, he legged it.
So social media did give me the result of one match heading into the pay-per-view because I didn't watch it at work with my clients as I normally do on a Monday. Instead, I watched it afterwards. So it was only one thing that was spoiled for me. This was not. And thank God it didn't, because my jaw hit the table. It was so
same.
good. Like,
was not expecting it because Keith Lee was out of the match. I was expecting Bobby to retain.
Spot on. Like, so my predictions were pretty much entirely wrong. There were two things that I got right, which is the Universal Championship match and... Oh, no, I got a couple of things right. I got 3 things right.
Yeah.
But, so I had Bobby to retain, and with the idea that Riddle was there to solely eat the pin. So then Keith would presumably either win, or Bobby, or he would have fuel to be like, you didn't beat me, you beat Riddle, I want another go.
Yeah.
So I do wonder whether that was still, like, kayfabe removal, whether that was supposed to happen. Whether Riddle was meant to eat the pin, and instead because they wanted to tell us, because knowing what happens on Raw today, because I have watched Raw before we're recording this, knowing what's coming makes me go, they needed that belt off Bobby, period, and they weren't going to give it to John Morrison, so Riddle it is.
Well, I think knowing what's coming, because I haven't watched Raw yet, for me, something happens later in the show that makes me trigger and think, okay, I understand why the belt came off.
Exactly. So Bobby doesn't need the US title right now. He's got other plans. So either way, it was going, like, from a kayfabe removal perspective, it was going, and I have a feeling it was meant to be going to Keith. Yeah. So which I hope leads to maybe Fastlane, maybe even Mania. We're going to get him come back and be like, hey, that match that I couldn't do, let's do it now. Yeah. And then we see, and then we get this beautiful Mania pop as, Keith Lee wins the United States. That would be so good, personally.
That would be amazing.
I'm a big Keith mark, so there's that too.
Yeah, exactly right.
So what do you think of this one? What do you think of the match?
Oh, look, I really didn't have that much interest in it once I found out that Keith Lee was out. I think, yes and no, actually. It was this weird match because later in the show, we do see... This is going to sound really weird, but I have to mention it. Later in the night, we do see The Miz having a chat with MVP. And now, Morrison being in this match and basically getting his ass handed to him by Bobby Lashley, I feel like, because MVP and The Miz were talking, I feel like maybe something was going on there between the lot of them. Which, fuck it, let's just get into it. My suspicions were.
You're about to miss a match, by the way.
Oh, am I? Okay, never mind.
So we'll get to that in just a moment. Instead, there was the women's tag team championship match. Shania
that
Payne
replaced the Raw championship
versus Sasha Banks and Belair. Fucking cares? Like, we knew it wasn't going to change.
It was slapped together from SmackDown.
Yeah, and it's poo. And personally, I think those belts are changing hands to the NXT women. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I'll give them credit. This was from Banks and Belair. This was a hell of a match. They're both amazing performers as well. Shayna and Nia, meh. But Banks and Belair really did put on a performance. I knew it wasn't going to change hands. Ultimately, Reginald has, for some reason, been getting involved with Sasha Banks, and he was saying that Banks and Belair were going to win backstage, and Belair still hasn't announced who she's going to be
I still don't know why Reginald is simping so hard for
I know
Sasha.
He claims he's not.
Just every woman that's around, he's just simping.
Yeah,
not a bad thing. Look, simping ain't all bad. As we said on Twitter, Jem, I simp for you all the time, and I'm very happy to. So I'm not against the act of simping. It's just that you have to narrow that energy onto an individual. You don't spread it.
Yeah, exactly right. What are you, Vegemite? Take it easy.
Well done.
But that was quick.
That was very well done.
But no, Reginald comes out for some reason with a bottle of wine, gives it to Banks as if to be like, hit somebody with it, get the win. During the distraction of the referee taking it off Banks, they end up losing, and it's Reginald's fault. Now, that makes me think that maybe there's something going on there behind the scenes with Carmella. But who's to say?
So
didn't really care anyway.
Poo match, no one cares. Nothing.
Exactly right.
Nothing of note happened. Next, men's chamber match.
Most important one, the WWE.
That's right. So we had Drew McIntyre, AJ Styles, Kofi Kingston in this one, not the other one. this
Yep.
one.
Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy.
Granddaddy, Jeff Hardy,
And Sheamus.
Sheamus.
Yeah. So this pissed me off because, first of all, Sami Zayn comes out. As soon as he gets locked in his pod, his camera crew gets kicked out. However, AJ gets in his pod. Omos is allowed to stay
And
there.
Omos has a clear history of getting involved in matches.
Exactly right. Whatever. Anyway, so
But
the match does
It's a
start
no
with,
DQ match. Why does it matter if they're ringside?
Exactly right. But yeah, so the match does start with Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy, which I thought was an interesting introduction. Not mad about it. Obviously, they have a little bit of history there. Are they? I mean, they all have history. It's
Well, they're
fascinating.
all former WWE champions. That's the shtick.
Yeah. One thing that did make me laugh, and I think this is just a thing, I think Kofi is literally there to try and make everybody break their characters.
Dude, it was so good.
Like,
He
it's
is just yelling shit. He's yelling about
Yeah.
Randy's quads. About
Yeah,
how
he's sitting there. It's like, man, I see you flexing your quads. They thick. You've been doing squats. Your quads are thick. And I was wetting myself. Like, I was like, you could see Randy's face. He was trying so hard not to just start laughing.
The decision to mic the booths was a really
The pods,
good one.
yeah.
It was
Oh,
such a
it's
good idea.
So good. Kofi is just, this is what I love about Kofi. Is like, no matter what he does, you're always going to be pissing yourself laughing. But yeah, so first pod to open was Drew McIntyre. So obviously Champ is in the match nice and quickly. And then Kofi Kingston came in next.
Then AJ, then Sheamus.
Yeah, then AJ, then Sheamus.
Yeah.
But what happens is, the interesting thing about this is how AJ comes into the match is Randy Orton gets eliminated by Kofi Kingston. And absolutely pissed off. He starts delivering RKOs to everybody. And as the door opens for him to exit, AJ has Omos rip one of the plexiglasses out. And he jumps down and he waits for Randy to leave and runs in before they close the door to get himself into the match. So obviously Adam Pearce, pissed as hell, comes down and kicks Omos out finally. Doesn't matter. AJ's already in the chamber. No big deal. Which I thought was pretty nifty.
Well, I quite liked it. Yeah, with a no DQ,
Yeah.
technically he didn't have to wait for the count.
No.
Which I was like, okay, which just means there's a longer time until Sheamus got in, so that's fine.
Yeah, exactly right, which was amazing. It was a lot of fun. It was really interesting to see Randy get eliminated by Kofi, but at the same time, that plays back into our Kofi Mania stint there, which was really nice.
Which was a big ongoing discussion in commentary because 2 years ago, Elimination Chamber is what gave Kofi the opportunity to begin what was Kofi Mania.
Yeah.
Could we see that again? And the answer is no.
Yeah,
but
exactly
we
right.
almost did. It felt good.
Yeah. There was a lot of obviously fun things like Kofi jumping off pods and stuff like that. We did forget to mention in the first match, the best thing out of the whole match for me was watching Cesaro do pull-ups at the top of the chamber after he'd kicked Sami Zayn off the side.
Yeah, that was a relatively
just
dangerous spot. That was pretty cool. As in the hanging off the wall and kicking and punching each other and
Yeah,
then
exactly
was
right.
nice.
And then Sammy hit the floor hard, and then you just see like Cesaro just like doing chin-ups and deliberately headbutting the chain. Like, I was just like, damn, bro. But one thing I did love about this as well is just like when superstars are like properly in the moment, I love how angry they get. So like, for instance, Jeff Hardy got thrown by Drew McIntyre into one of the pods and almost knocked over a cameraman who was on the edge of the outside with his camera through. And all you hear is Drew McIntyre yell out, "I told you, move!"
Oh, yeah, it's like, get out of the way.
Yeah, I love that they just get so mad about it. It's so funny. It's like, good. It's good camera.
Good fourth
Don't worry
wall
about
breaking. It was good.
Yeah, exactly right.
But yeah, in short, it did end with Drew McIntyre retaining, which is kind of what I expected. There was there was a really good, because it did end with the final two was Drew and AJ.
Which I did not expect.
No, I thought it was going to be Sheamus. So Sheamus got fucked with a phenomenal forearm and then just died
real hard.
And then later on, AJ goes for a forearm again, gets Claymored mid-air.
Beautiful.
And then he's dead.
Yep.
So then as the chamber rises, you know, like
McIntyre's almost
McIntyre's,
in tears.
he's stoked. He's hugging that championship. He's feeling good. He's feeling great. He's just beaten 5 other men. Boom. Lashley comes out, kicks the living piss out of him.
Yeah, hurt lock,
everything. You name it, he's down on the ground, not doing well.
Yeah.
Awesome. Miz comes in, cashes in that briefcase, goes for a DDT. Drew kicks out. Skull fucking finale. Wrecks him. 1, 2, 3. The Miz.
I love that. Let's call that from now on.
Miz. I mentioned that when watching the stream yesterday. I laughed so hard that I'm using that as often as I can. So Skull fucking finale. 1, 2, 3. The Miz is the WWE champion.
No. So I saw this coming as soon as I saw Miz talking to MVP, right?
Yeah.
So I saw that backstage. I saw the case. I was like, what's the bet? Bobby Lashley has lost the title because like this little chat with MVP has set up something to put them there. Like I was like, okay, Lashley's lost the title. Now that MVP is talking to Miz, I'm pretty sure MVP is like, I'll get my dude to wreck that dude.
You fucked
so
that
you
boy.
can get the title, but you owe me a favor.
Yeah.
That's business. That's business. That's what the Hurt Business do, because you did see MVP up in the ring like flashing the Hurt Business and all that sort of stuff, and talking about the Hurt Officer and whatnot. So I put 2 and 2 together pretty quickly, and because I saw that coming, I was like, oh great, Drew's gonna lose it, and I was mad about
that. That was the one that was my spoiler. My spoiler was the Miz. And I'm like, and I wasn't even mad, so I'm like, oh my god, how do we get to this? Because even though I knew the outcome, it was the story getting there. Because I'm like, well, it has to be after the chamber, but who does he like? Does it change hands twice?
How? Yeah.
You know, like I was unsure,
exactly,
so I'm like, I need to see where this goes, and I was happy with it. I think it's great because I think Miz is like a real good shit heel, and I think he'll be nice and Weasley about it.
And I
definitely think that's going to be fun.
Doesn't stop me from being mad about it.
No, not at all.
Because, I'm a mark and all.
But yeah, my markness was like, yeah, why not? Fuck it.
Whereas mine's the total opposite. Mine's like, it hits me in the feels. I'm like, I hate this. I hate it. I hate the Miz. It sucks. But that's the whole point of it. That's what they want.
That's what they want. And then having watched Raw today as well, like obviously we'll discuss Raw in tomorrow's episode of The Young and the Restless, but you are like very on the money in terms of like, you had a deal, this and that, and it looks...
it's easy to see.
And it looks as if, the Miz is going to be that level of sneaky chicken shit champion, which I'm excited for.
Yeah, he's going to be a shit heel, and I love it. Like, that's what Miz is good at.
Yeah.
And I'm all for it, but it's also making me feel exactly what they want me to feel. I'm just like, I didn't like this pay-per-view because they didn't want me to.
Yeah.
They didn't want me to like that ending. But I do kind of like that, like, I don't know, I can see Bobby Lashley moving into the higher title picture again. I think he's at that point now where that's where he needs to be. And that I'm pretty okay with.
Yeah, and we'll 100% discuss that more tomorrow because there is a lot to lay down in terms of that pathway.
Every time, like, it's always the way with the follow-up show from the night after, that Raw is always so much to take in. And that's why I love doing the pay-per-view into that. And it was interesting that this was quite a short pay-per-view. Like,
it was 2.5 hours. It was less than an episode of Raw.
Yeah, which is wild. And I think, like, that I enjoyed because it was bite-sized. Like, I didn't feel like it was a chore to have to watch it. Like,
it was 4 matches. It was less than a takeover.
Yeah, exactly right. So, and I think, lessening the match card is probably a better option for them to take at the moment with everything going on.
Yeah, saying that though, it does disregard a lot of the other titles. Like IC wasn't here, which is fine. But it's fine, but not fine. But the tag titles were not here either, not even in the kickoff, which was weird because they weren't in the last one either. I know they were.
Yeah.
I know they're not getting a lot of love right now. Neither of the tag team titles are.
Neither of them.
So there's that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's you. Yeah, you make a point there actually.
And that's the answer. When you have a truncated card like that, and you have X amount of championships, some of them are going to be missed. For better or worse.
Yeah, and sometimes they do, and I get it. Like, I'm sure we won't see something at Fastlane, whether it's like the United States title and it'll be the IC focus instead. Like, they do have that balance there. But yeah, I don't know. I think I was most disappointed about it that, the whole like Raw Championship was just thrown to the side. Like, instead of just like, okay, we're just not going to do this match anymore. Like, it'd make sense to be like, well, Lacey can't compete, but you know, Peyton's had this win before. Why isn't Peyton going for the title?
Yeah.
Like, you know, just like Lacey can't compete, but I'm going to put my tag team partner in this match. And, you know, that really bummed me out because, you know, it's, you know, a shit spot for Asuka as well. In saying
See, once
that,
again,
though,
that depends on the story. Maybe she was meant to. Maybe it was looking as if Lacey was going to win, and like, well, we don't want to give it to Peyton because the story isn't there.
That's what I wanted to mention is I did see a spoiler on the interwebs today that you did send me.
Oh, Rippers!
It looks like Rippers is coming to Raw. So I'm kind of okay with it now that I know that, because I am so down to see Rippers v Asuka for the title. I think that's where it needs to go.
Yep, that's happening. Rippers.
But yeah, on the whole, if I was to rate this pay-per-view in our patented Kurt Angles...
Which, side note, by the way, the Kurt Angle has his own podcast now. It's called The Kurt Angle Show. I saw it on Twitter this evening.
Never mind.
Go over there, give him 2 Kurts as well for stepping out.
Yeah, I'm
going
going
to
to go give him 2 Kurts.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him 2 Kurts. It's funny because I was watching something the other day. I think Christian and Edge were doing their podcast and Kurt was on it. And Christian mentioned how Kurt looks like a thumb. And I couldn't help but laugh. I was like, 2 thumbs up, 2 Kurts. But on the whole, like, it wasn't terrible, but it really didn't have me too engaged, I think, because I wasn't so invested in a lot of it.
Yeah.
It was like 2 or 4 matches I really cared about. And yeah, if I had to call it, I'd probably call it down the middle and just give it a Kurt.
Yeah, see, like, I enjoyed this because with there being a lot of people in the ring at any given time, there's always going to be good wrestling. And I think we saw
so
that
many
here.
good spots.
Yeah, we saw awesome spots. We saw great, you know, technically-esque wrestling with Daniel Bryan and Cesaro, so that was mad. And then we had
the resilience of Daniel Bryan, especially with his knee going off again.
Yeah, and like the amount for someone that had a broken brain and neck proceeds to get punched in the face a lot. You know, a lot of head damage, which is cool. But yeah, so that was great. Love the shit out of that. I love the moment where I thought Daniel Bryan was going to take it. There was and then the surprise win of Matt Riddle was dope. I love that a lot. Then the women's tag title, then the men's chamber was also really good, and that little swerve at the end, loved it. I was this perfect? Not even. But it was also the bite-sized nature of it, with only being 2.5 hours, is a big plus. Additionally, there's enough highlight moments in there for it to be a positive experience for me, mixed with some good wrestling, and there was even a dud match in the middle for me to go take a piss or whatever, you know, and you know, like, not really focused. I think we actually watched some other YouTube videos. We watched Dave Meltzer try to explain the social media policy, and I wanted to vomit. He for someone that is so respected in the industry, he sounds like he's having
hit and miss.
He sounds like he's having a stroke in installments. Like it's horrible. I hate him.
Oh god.
Like little minor ones, and it's really inconvenient.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it. That's Elimination Chamber. Let us know what
You didn't give it your Kurtz.
Oh, Kurtz. It was Kurt in a bar.
Kurt in
in
a
a bar for me.
Cesaro.
Yeah, Cesaro.
Hey, the bar were technically on the show,
They were, which was lovely. But yeah, let us know what you thought of the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Comment below if you're watching the video. Reach out to us on social medias if you are on the podcast. My Twitter handle is @HaggardMC. That's HAGGARDMC. And then Jem is Jem the Vampire.
JEM. Not G, J.
Yeah, J as in Jem into holograms.
Yes.
Jem into vampires.
Jem the Vampire.
This was our Elimination Chamber review. It came at you on a Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. on your podcast services, 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you want to join that wrestling conversation, head to the Facebook group, facebook.com/group/popcultures. We haven't been hit by this whole Facebook ban, so we're very lucky. A lot of our friends have been straight up fucked by it.
Apparently it's lifting again.
Yeah, and it's being altered again. Good. So thankfully we weren't affected. The group stands page.
Circuit breaker.
Woo. Yeah, it was like a snap restriction of news. So yeah, and of course, Twitter, Discord, Instagram, all those links are in the down below area. If you want to support the show, you can twitch.tv/PopCultures. Usually watch us record this show live. Due to some late notice things that I was doing at home, so some personal things, we weren't able to record this show live. It will be live as we normally do for the other standard show. And of course, if you're on the podcast service, 5-star rating, written review. If you are on YouTube, like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. If you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculturist, while our merchandise store, popculturist.com/shop, where you buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. And until we return with our regular scheduled programming, I'm Ryan Betson.
And I'm Too Sweet.
We'll see you then.
I'm Jem. Bye.